All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to deconstruct a really sophisticated cyber attack. And you know what? It all starts with something we all do probably every single day without even thinking about it, proving you're not a robot. This is the story of how one simple, innocent click can kick off a total ransomware catastrophe. You see this question everywhere, right? It's just a quick little check, a hoop you jump through to get to a website. It feels so normal, so harmless. But what if I told you that this very action, this simple click, could be the key that opens the front door for some of the most dangerous cybercriminals on the planet? Because in the case we're breaking down today, which comes from some incredible research by Sophos, that's exactly what happened. This simple little verification test was just the first domino to fall in a long, devastating chain reaction that ended with a massive ransomware attack from the notorious Qilin group. So let's start at the very beginning with what we're calling the human verification trap. This is the bait. It's the starting point of that domino effect, and it uses a really slick, deceptive tactic that attackers have been getting very good at, known as ClickFix. Now here's what's so clever and so scary about this. It doesn't start on some sketchy website in a dark corner of the internet. No, it begins on a legitimate site that you probably trust. The site itself has been compromised. So you think you're safe, but in the background, a malicious script has loaded this fake verification page right on top of the real content. It looks right, it feels right, but it's a trap. So how does that one little click turn into a full-blown infection? Well, that brings us to Section 2, Anatomy of the Infection. We're going to break down exactly how that click gets weaponized to give an attacker total control of your system. So you click the button. What's actually happening? Well, first, a totally invisible overlay captures that click. Then, a sneaky script starts fingerprinting your system, your browser, your OS, everything, for tracking. And then the big moment. When you complete the test, you're not proving you're human. You're actually triggering a download. A malicious batch file gets executed, and it installs a program called Net Support Manager, setting it up to run automatically. Just like that, they have a persistent foothold on your machine. And this is a classic move. See, Net Support Manager is a totally legitimate tool. IT departments use it all the time for remote support. But attackers love to abuse these kinds of trusted tools. They turn it into what's called a remote access Trojan, or a RAT. And just like that, they've got the keys to drive your computer from anywhere in the world. But just getting access isn't the end goal. Oh no. The attackers are after a much, much bigger prize. And that brings us to Section 3, the credential heist. This is where they use that initial infection to steal the keys to the entire kingdom. So the Net Support Rat, its main job isn't to spy on you. Its job is to be a downloader, a kind of digital beachhead. It quietly phones home to the attacker's server and pulls down a second, even nastier payload. Now, to stay hidden, the attackers use this really clever technique called DLL sideloading. They take their malicious code and disguise it as a part of a legitimate, trusted Microsoft program. So when that normal program runs, it's tricked into loading the attacker's malicious code instead of its own. It's a fantastic way to bypass security software that's looking for obviously bad files. So what's this hidden code they're loading? It's a seriously nasty piece of malware called StealC v2. And it's an info stealer. It has one job and one job only, to vacuum up every piece of sensitive data it can find on that computer. We're talking usernames, passwords, browser data, crypto wallets. If it's valuable, StealC is designed to find it and steal it. So let's just break that down real simple. Think of it like a heist. The Net Support Rat is the guy who picks the lock and quietly opens the door. Then, the StealC info stealer is the thief who slips inside and empties the safe. Two different tools working together for one mission. Now that the credentials are stolen, the stage is set for the grand finale, the final devastating act. Welcome to Section 4, Ransomware's grand entrance. This is where the patient predator finally strikes. Okay, now this right here is what makes these attackers so effective. It's their patience. The initial infection, that click, happens on day 1, but the actual ransomware attack, that doesn't launch for almost a month. Think about that. They just sit and wait. This is a brilliant tactical move because it completely disconnects the final catastrophic attack from that one little click you made weeks ago and have totally forgotten about. For security teams, trying to trace the attack back to its origin becomes a nightmare. And then they make their move. Using those VPN credentials that StealC swiped, they just log in. That's it. To all the security alarms, firewalls, and defenses, they look like a regular employee doing their job. They've just waltzed right in through the digital front door. And the group behind all this, Qilin, they are not a small-time operation. That number, 1,168, that's how many victims they posted on their data leak site in less than 2 years. These are major players, one of the most prolific and dangerous ransomware gangs out there right now. And Qilin uses what's called a double extortion model. It's brutal. They don't just lock up all your files and demand cash to get them back. Before they do that, they steal copies of all your most sensitive data. So now they have two threats: pay us to unlock your files and pay us to not leak all of your company's secrets to the entire world. It puts incredible pressure on the victims. Okay, so after seeing this whole terrifying chain of events, there's really only one question that matters. How do you stop it? And that brings us to our last section, building your defenses. How do we stop those dominoes from ever even starting to fall? Well, the advice from security pros is all about good, solid cyber hygiene. It's not always flashy, but it works. It starts with patching your internet-facing gear, like that VPN, the second a patch is out. It means not exposing services you don't need to, and this one is huge, using strong, phishing-resistant multi-factor authentication. And finally, having advanced security tools that can spot those early warning signs, like a rat being installed long before the ransomware shows. And for the tech folks out there, this is what that detection looks like under the hood. These are the digital fingerprints the attackers leave behind: file hashes, IP addresses, file paths. Your security teams use this kind of data, these indicators of compromise, to hunt for threats inside the network and shut them down fast. So we end up right back where we started. That simple, everyday click to prove you're human. It turns out there's a lot more riding on it than we think. This entire attack, from start to finish, was only possible because it exploited a single moment of misplaced trust. It's a powerful reminder that in our digital lives, the most casual, mundane actions can have the biggest consequences. So the next time you click verify, maybe just pause and ask yourself, what am I really letting in?